when you are first diagnosed with cancer, you do just think about yourself. But what you don't realize is the people closest to you. You know, they want to help you so much. We talk about the we because you can't do it by yourself. The we includes family, friends, the doctors, you know, it's everybody. I was diagnosed with CLL and SLL in October of 2011. CLL is chronic lymphocytic leukemia, and it kind of pairs along with small cell lymphocytic lymphoma. We were told, don't worry about it, you'll never be cancer-free. We heard those words.
They said, well, we're not going to do anything, we're just going to let it go. There was nothing to do, you could live 20 years.
At that point, we had a second opinion. We were told, you know, 1% or 2% have these mutations. It was devastating. We weren't told that there was this incredibly ugly side to a very common cancer. And, you know, we found out that it is chemo-resistant and that there is no treatment. And throughout that time, I felt terrific. He wouldn't give me strokes in golf because I had cancer. That never worked. And then in 2014 was when we found out that the cancer had kicked into high gear. We knew right away, chemo's not gonna work. Let's do the trial.
So when we met Karen for the first time, we thought that she would be actually a perfect candidate for it because she was herself was eager and she was very interested in the idea of immunotherapy, and she was remaining in a very good functional state.
Dr. Park was very good when we first met him, you know, just explaining about the trial and exactly what it is, replacing the T cells, taking your own cells out, re-engineering them, and then putting them back in. He warned us up front, she'd get very sick. That was a good thing.
You know, your body's supposed to fight the cancer to begin with. So when it doesn't, why not re-engineer the cells to kind of tell them what to do? The trial was going to be difficult, and I knew I needed to be strong for that. My sister, right before I went into the hospital, she had friends and family all make different patches. Like I said, you can't go through something like this alone, but to have the family and Dave and my sister and brothers and my friends, just like, whoa, you know, just amazing. I was admitted to Memorial Sloan Kettering. The cells took about, you know, an hour or so. It was a very small bag, and an hour after I received my cells, I started getting sick. When your body starts reacting to the kill-off, it's called a cytokine storm, and that is when the body is saying, you know, enough, but it's the kill-off of the cancer and the body trying to get rid of it all. The doctors want this storm to continue because the bigger kill-off of the cancer cells you have, the more likelihood that it will be very successful.
You know, two most common side effects are high fevers, maybe blood pressure issues, and perhaps some breathing issues, disorientation, confusion. That's what Karen got. Patients after receiving the CAR T cells and in the midst of the cytokine release syndrome, it's kind of not easy for the patient's family members to see that. So my job is really kind of educate them and saying, we've seen this before, you're gonna get better, let's just get through it together. Because it's hard to see what comes, even though I know it's a reversible thing.
He said, we brought you to the edge, brought you as far as we could, and then we had to stop it.
It was a very gradual, but every day she'd be a little better.
And I was in the hospital for 25 nights. 8 of those nights were in ICU. We had a doctor's appointment 1 week later, and he walked in and he said, you're cancer-free. You know, and we never, ever thought we'd hear those words. They were getting ready to do the bone marrow transplant on top of everything. And we kind of talked with Dr. Park and said, why can't this CAR T-cell trial, why can't this be the cure?
You know, Karen was in the hospital for 3 weeks. 3 weeks after that, she was golfing. So it was brutal while she was in there, but then it was over quick.
Dave was phenomenal, and you know, he knew when to push me and when to not, and I could not have gotten through this without Dave. I came out on March 3rd. My goal was we were having a family reunion at the end of March in Florida.
Being able to make that trip, and she got out and golfed, which we were all shocked by. That made it perfect. That means we turned the corner, we were moving on.
For people who are contemplating a clinical trial or not, I think the most important thing for us was just being absolutely honest with the doctors and them being honest with us, and then we could evaluate. Cancer Research Institute supports this immunotherapy completely, and without their research, without their funding, none of this would be happening.